The following is a special presentation of Tony Kurre Radio.
Welcome back to K4Wins. Where this K is coming from, we got Kai, we got Keeper, we got Kip, we got Kurre, and the Boar Box. We got going on here. Of course, we're all over the world doing our show basically here from the Birmingham area, but as you can see, Kai's down there at the beach. And, of course, from the flagship stations of Kip Keeper's basement and Case Keeper out in Las Vegas. From the Las Vegas Sun. We all got fine studios we're broadcasting from, so we're looking forward to it. By the way, we're going to be on the Coastal Sports Network next Tuesday. We'll be down in Fort Myers, Florida. Looking forward to that. And perhaps all three of us will join Kai maybe down here in the next few weeks. Maybe we can do a show from Fort Myers. That'd be kind of fun to do a show from 102.9, the game down there. We greatly appreciate Angel and his entire crew for letting us be a partnership with those guys. Great day to be doing a show because there are so many great things going on. The NBA playoffs, of course, continue, and the championship series gets underway, starts on Thursday night. Coming up tomorrow night, the NHL, Florida, Edmonton, a rematch of last year's playoff. Right off the top, Case, Las Vegas buzzing, Bubby. I love seeing playoff series, and particularly when it comes down to championship series for two of our biggest sports within a day of each other.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm kind of, I feel like I'm just regurgitating what I wrote today, but if you go to LasVegasSun.com, I kind of previewed both from a betting perspective. I really feel like it's kind of sportsbook's last hurrahs. I mean, this is not going to be the level of the NCAA tournament or the Super Bowl or even like a random NFL Sunday, but this is kind of the last time for the next couple months that sportsbooks will be filled, and a lot of recreational money will be coming into the market. People will be betting these two series, and then it's kind of vacation time in the industry. Not for me. I'm always finding something to bet, but I think I think everyone kind of takes a deep breath and lets their foot off the gas for the most part going into football. And this is kind of the last two big betting events. It'll be fun to get them both started within about 48 hours here. Obviously, back-to-back days.
Kip, I absolutely love this matchup in the NBA, that first over-under 232. That means they're going to be running and going up and down. I just love it. Just breakneck fast speed for the Indiana Pacers. But you know what? They're not even getting a sniff of respect against an OKC squad, which, by the way, is the youngest team to make the NBA championship since Portland back in 1976. They averaged 25.3 miles a day. Yeah, so it's been a long time. This is a young team. It's going to be around for a long time. SAG, of course, fronting that. He's about ready to set some records, too, alongside LeBron James and Michael Jordan and some of his prowess as far as in 35-point games and assists. But can the Pacers go 6-7? Can they actually win this series?
I'll believe anything now. We had the same discussion before the Cleveland series, and we gave them no shot whatsoever. Yeah. And they eliminate Cleveland. The Knicks, of course, survived against Boston, which we didn't see coming either. Nobody really could have seen that coming. But I got my reaction when I looked at the line yesterday was 9.5 for game one on Thursday. The Pacers, like you said, not getting much respect for what they've accomplished. And I think this team has kind of grown. I had kind of the book on them, and Kai or Case might disagree, but I had kind of had the book on them during the year. They just could score a slew of points, but I didn't know how defensively sound they were. But I see kind of a evolving team here that they're doing what's necessary to win. They played the Knicks on the up and down at their pace, frenzied kind of approach to the game, a couple of games in that series, but in a couple of the games where it became kind of knocked down, drag out possession by possession, they held their own just fine there. So I'm not going to underestimate this team and the individuals they have. They've impressed the hell out of me. I never would have dreamed they could have gotten this far, but I have said consistently, from a just sheer talent standpoint, OKC is the team to beat. I don't care how young they are. They just rise to the occasion. And so I still think they're the prohibitive favorite in the series, but I'm not going to be shocked if Indiana gives them a hard time.
K4Wins.com, K4Wins.com. Of course, they had a couple regular season games. The Thunder won both those games. First game by 21, the second game by 6. Really interesting stat I found. This is a Tony Kurre stat for you, Kai, just before we get to you and our numbers from last week. This is pretty amazing, too. When OKC limits opponents to 110 or fewer, The Thunder's 10-0 in the playoffs. When the Pacers score 110 or more, they're 12-0 and 0-4 under 110. So that 110 number is a huge number for the Pacers. Speaking of a huge number, Indiana plus 550 end of the time. I'd be all over it, but against OKC getting minus 750. What do you think, Kai?
Well, we were 21-10 last week.
Nice.
When this number came out, I jumped on the under. I just think first game, I like the defense that OKC plays. Indiana can play defense when they want to, and I don't think OKC will be scared to slow it down. I think it's a great coaching matchup, and I personally give the coaching matchup expertise, or the better coach, in my opinion, is with Indiana. And
I agree.
But I think it's going to be. I think that first game stays under. And I don't like it if it gets much under 230. But I think you're going to have the OKC stat of keeping somebody below 110, and Indiana's going to stay below 110.
OKC Thunder 6.4 turnover differential this year. That was by far the best differential. That means they're getting more than 6 turnovers per ball game from the other side than the other team. Another interesting line here: the Pacers 36-9 and 5-1 the playoffs when they dish 30 assists or more per ball game. So they love to share the basketball. Let's go around the horn real quick, and we'll start with you, Case. Give me some series prices. If you had a gun to your head, you had to lay some money down on the NBA series. Give me some MVPs. Of course, SAG minus 650. Halliburton's second plus 650, so it's not even close. But any value in any of those numbers, and then give me some exact numbers, if you will, as far as in how many games you think it's going to take for OKC or Indiana to win a championship.
Yeah, if you guys watched last week, you knew it was coming, so I'm going to tie this into another sport. But I feel like I got a chance to take my victory lap right now. For starting last week's show saying Vanderbilt, Texas, and Georgia were pretenders. Yes. They were not going to win the College World Series. I really had a chance to put pie in my face, but instead I got a victory lap. So maybe this is a new segment, victory lap or pie in my face. So I'm going to give you another chance.
Oh, that's a good one.
For me to make a fool of myself here on the NBA Finals. I know I said I gave the Pacers little chance in that second round series, but I thought it would be competitive. So I guess I was kind of wrong there, although I really think injuries, a lot of things conspired. I give them zero chance in this series. The Thunder are minus 700 favorites. To me, they should be like minus 7,000. Just like everything is broken so well for the Pacers. They're shooting almost, I think, 3.5% better from 3-point range in the playoffs than they are in the regular season. That is just completely unheard of. They're completely riding the heaters of all heater. And what do we know about heaters? They eventually end, especially when they've placed like the most mediocre slate of opposing defenses you're ever going to see in the playoffs. Now they're taking on a historically good defensive team. I actually agree with a lot of what you guys said, especially there's one place where I think they have an advantage in this matchup, and it is Rick Carlisle. I do think he's the better coach, although I don't think Dagnaut's any slouch. We've seen him have some in-game issues at the end of this. I think this is a part where he could level up and get to there. I just really think these teams are in two completely different stratospheres. I could see the Pacers winning one game. I would even be pretty shocked if they win 2 games. So I guess that starts with the bets, which you asked for. Even though I am completely leveraged on the Thunder all year, I've said only 2 teams could win the title, the Thunder and the Celtics. I have all my futures on the Celtics. I have no regard, no even consideration for hedging or arbitraging and taking plus money the series with the Pacers. In fact, I laid more, minus 2.5 games, minus 115 on the Thunder. I just think this is a mismatch, so I've actually added to my Thunder position. This would be the biggest NBA Finals upset since the Pistons over the Lakers. And on paper, I was a little worried until I dug more into it. Just on paper, I think this is an even bigger mismatch than that was. I don't see it. So we'll see. 2 weeks when the series is over, we'll see if it's another victory lap or pie in my face with that one. I agree with Kai on game 1, 2. I actually don't have any game 1 bets, but some sports books across the country are now flashing under 231.5. Not here in Vegas yet. That's kind of my buy point. I want 230. I want 231.5 under. You can only get 231 right now. I'm going to be patient because I think there's going to be a lot of interest in people playing the over in this first game. But the beginning of finals usually play pretty cagey. Like I said, Indiana has just not played a defense the caliber of Oklahoma City's all year. They struggled with Oklahoma City's defense the 2 games they played during the year, like you said. And I think the 21-point win, Chet Holmgren didn't even play. I mean, Holmgren was hurt for several months now. He's kind of hit another level in his defensive maturity. I think this game will play a little bit slower. I think it's going to take some time for Indiana to adjust. I think Oklahoma City will be happy to slow it down. So I do like the under here. Not something I've bet yet, but once it hits 231.5 in Vegas, I'll be on that. And yeah, if you really want to bet on the series, I think Oklahoma City -2.5, -115 games. An MVP to me, I mean, it should be 1-1. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander in Oklahoma City. So this is not typically something I would tell people to do, but you can find SGA as low as -500 to be the favorite. I know everyone loves parlaying, and a lot of books allow you to parlay futures now. I would just pair. No one likes laying 500, so I would find SGA -500 and find it with, I don't know, a big baseball favorite you like. Hell, the WNBA, the New York Liberty are so much better than everyone else. Do a futures parlay with that. Just find something to parlay the SGA -500 with. Of course, nothing's 100%. He could get injured, but I really think that SGA MVP price should be almost the exact same as the Thunder to win the series.
That big nut,
it's not right now.
Yeah, that big nut in the last series with Indiana and the Knicks, of course, everyone kept saying, the Knicks could stay with his team, but could they stay with him in a 7-game series? Well, you can't stay with Indiana a 7-game series because they are so young getting up and down the court, but it ain't going to be a 7-game series against OKC. It'll be a 4-game series or maybe a 5-game series. By the way, do you remember what the Pacers were preseason to win the NBA championship?
I know. I had looked up. They were 30-1, pretty widespread to win the Eastern Conference going into the playoffs.
They were 50 to win 50 to 1 to win the NBA championship. Kip, do they have a shot?
As I said before, I won't be surprised if they're competitive, but I don't think they have a shot to win the series. We did on the starting lineup about a month ago. You and I were ventured into the Legend Cave, which is always an ominous chore. And he posed the question, who's going to be the NBA champion? And I think both you and I, before the playoffs even started, said OKC. They had the most talented team. And that's not what Legend wanted to hear, being a big Boston Celtics fan. But sometimes you got to be unpopular. But I've been pretty much on that bandwagon the whole playoffs, that they're the best team. Was surprised that they had such a struggle with the Nuggets. But they survived that, and I think maybe you even grow as a team a little bit if it all doesn't just come easy. So the way they dispatched a good Minnesota team down in the last couple of games was pretty impressive to me. So I don't think they can win it. I can say with absolute certainty who the biggest loser is in the NBA playoffs. It is the TV executives and the league executives who have to now grin and bear the fact that the two teams in the finals are the 25th and 45th ranked markets in the United States.
Go sell that, man. Go sell that.
Indianapolis is the 25th highest. Oklahoma City is the 45th. It is literally the end of the earth as far as TV markets who could have made the playoffs, or could have made the finals, I should say. And it just amuses me that ahead of the Indianapolis in the top 24, there are 19 NBA franchises that are all trunk slammers sitting on the sidelines watching this now. It's 25 against 45. Which is kind of hard to imagine, but that's what we've got in the NBA Finals. So Indianapolis and Oklahoma City guys, executives at ABC and ESPN are out on ledges on Park Avenue, getting ready to jump. Same thing out in LA. It's amazing that two of the smaller television markets in the entire country get in the finals.
What's amazing, too, about OKC is they are the youngest team in the NBA, and they're undoubtedly going to win an NBA championship. It's got to feel really good if you're upper management. You got the youngest team in the NBA. Stick it together, keep it together.
And a ton of future assets, too.
Oh, my gosh. It's unbelievable. And then I'm looking at the Knicks this morning, and every headline is, should the Knicks go all out and get Antetokounmpo just because they did? And I'm thinking to myself, and so I started going piece by piece. This is maybe one of the best teams I've seen in the NBA. I mean, you got SAG who can go up and down the floor and score 35 and 10 every single night. But I mean, just from a team aspect, it just goes to show that chemistry means a lot of great stuff. Kai, any other thoughts on the NBA championships before we jump into some Major League Baseball? We got some college stuff and the NHL starting this week as well.
No, I mean, I like Case's parlay idea. I think you could parlay it. I mean, even it's a high odds, but you could parlay it, with Oklahoma City, for the thing. I'm still not giving up on Indiana though. I don't think I could put -2.5 I think Indiana's going to surprise and win 2 games. I really do. I don't think they can win 4 out of 7 games, but I think they can win 2 and maybe 3. Although I do think, and that's strictly because of coaching, in my opinion. Totally agree on everything else. I'll go under in that first game, but after that, no, I think it's Oklahoma City.
Assuming OKC wins the first couple of ball games, what will that line be when they go back to Indiana?
It should be like 4.5 based on what it is right now. Although there's always a big jump for game 3, especially if they're down 2-0. So I wouldn't be surprised if it ends up being 3.5 or 4. And one non-betting thought I will say, I guess another bold proclamation. If I'm dead wrong and the Pacers win this series, I would make Oklahoma City the favorite to have Giannis next year. Like you talked about all their young talent. They have so many picks. They have all these other teams' picks. They could put together a better package for Giannis than anyone. So if they somehow stumble down the stretch here and have to make a change, that's an easy button to press. I think there's a good chance if they lose Giannis is in the Thunder next year, as long as he go to Oklahoma City.
I got a question for you. Hey, I got a question, Tony. What's the over/under? I'm going to go at 4.5 minutes of game 1 before LeBron, Luka, and the Lakers are mentioned.
Especially on ESPN. ESPN has the broadcasting rights, right? So
yep.
Well, yeah, it's amazing too because I think just chemistry plays into so many different things. When you're talking about, I heard some interesting talk about Kevin Durant too, and is he a great basketball player? Yeah, he's top 5 guy all time. Do you want him on your basketball team as of right now, or is he that guy that's going to be the distributor, a guy that's actually going to make your team better or make the players around him better? Probably not. He's a great guy. He's good for 35 every single night, but is he going to win you a championship? I don't know. And that's the difference between, say, an SAG. And it's going to be interesting, too, because SAG is so damn young. I don't think he even realizes what he's doing right now. He's just lights out, just a fantastic basketball player, the MVP of the league. All right, let's get into NHL. We have a rematch of last year's Florida-Edmonton series. Of course, the Panthers got that done last year. A rematch, and about as evenly as it goes. Kip, we'll start with you. Edmonton minus $1.30 for the series. Florida plus 10. I love this. I'm not a big hockey guy. I'm trying. I want to be a big hockey guy. Tell me why I should take Edmonton or why I should take the Florida Panthers in the NHL playoffs.
Well, all the premises, all the things I always base my criticism of Edmonton on have been kind of destroyed in this playoffs sequence because Edmonton is a team that always had the superstar scorers and the flashy players. But until this year, from a defensive standpoint and even consistent goaltending, never was their strong suit. And in the NHL playoffs, that has been a death knell for them. They made it all the way to Game 7 last year. I was with Case when Florida wrapped it up 2-1 in a defensive struggle in Game 7. And I know Case just hit the jackpot with that, with all of his futures bets and everything else. That was one of his biggest nights to date. Last year, that last game. This series feels a little different to me. I think this Edmonton team is better defensively. They've picked up some parts. I don't know if they're 100% healthy. Having a whole week off between games is a big benefit. So I rank the series as kind of a toss-up. I normally would have given Bobrovsky, the goaltender for Florida, the edge over Stuart Skinner, but I think Kay said it last week, as much as Stuart Skinner has been criticized, and he got off to a horrendous start in the playoffs, giving up 5 or 6 goals in the first 2 games to the Los Angeles Kings. And then he was sidelined, supposedly hurt, but basically, let's face it, he was benched. Since coming back, Skinner has been pretty damn solid. He still makes some plays that baffle me. He's a big guy and he wants to slide around and he gets out of position sometimes, but he's gotten away with it. And Dallas certainly had some guys that could have exposed that, but Edmonton really outclassed them. And so I'm kind of in the mode that this is going to be another 7-game series and is a toss-up because the Panthers have been odd too. The Panthers have had great showings on the road a couple times and then gone home and been shut out twice in critical games and series. So I just think take your shot. I'm interested to hear what the other guys think, but I think Edmonton has just as good a chance to win this series as the Panthers do.
Case got a wad of cash. I want to put it on a series. Who am I taking?
Ooh, that's a tough one. I mean, as you know, I've probably mentioned every week, I have a lot of money on the Oilers to win the Stanley Cup. So I'm riding with the Oilers in that regard. However, I will say I put in, I guess, technically one of the biggest bets of my life on Florida plus 1.5 games minus 200, hoping it goes just so I get off, just so I'm not totally devastated if the Oilers lose. Hopefully, it goes 7 and the Oilers win, and I can cash both. Man, this is a terrific series. I agree with I think almost everything Kip said it. And I would rewind to the Vegas Edmonton series as far as my thoughts. If you watched the show back then, you probably remember I was hemming and hawing. I ultimately said I liked Edmonton better, expected them to win. I ended up betting them to win the series, but I was so conflicted because numbers wise, it was really hard to get them to be a favorite over Vegas. I think if you use the data like I do for the full season, you would come out with Vegas as a slight favorite there. And we're dealing with the same thing here. I think any way you slice it analytically from the data, I think it's hard not to have Florida as a slight favorite, but I just think there's something different about the Oilers in the playoffs. It's not usually like this in the NHL where we talk about, teams being so tough and going after it every game. But, to me, the Oilers are kind of like, I guess, like that decade ago LeBron teams with the Cavs, where every year one year during the regular season, they were amazing. But I think the other 3 or 4 years, they were kind of just, sleepwalking. They were kind of resting guys. They weren't playing that hard till the playoffs. Like Toronto would come in as kind of a co-favorite with them a couple of years because they had a better record, were better than the regular season, and Cleveland would just stomp them. I mean, to me, I think Edmonton's very, very deliberate with not going all out in the regular season. To me, they just hit another gear in the postseason. They have a lot of older guys around, Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl, who just look reinvigorated by the playoffs. Now with I think they have the best defensive pairing in this game with Evan Bouchard, who's an absolute superstar, is probably going to get one of the biggest defensive contracts in NHL history this offseason. Now Matthias Ekholm's back with him. I mean, their top pairing, they're not as good defensively overall as Florida, but their top pairing is better than any pairing Florida has. And then the second one, as I've said time and time again, Wallman and Klingberg. Klingberg, one of those veterans that's been revitalized, has been really good too. So defensively, I think it's pretty close. This is another one where I guess just in my heart of hearts, I go a little bit against the numbers. I would have Florida a very slight favorite here, but okay. I just think that home ice, I think home ice has been so huge in these playoffs to everyone except the Panthers. The Panthers have won on the road constantly. I think home ice was the huge determiner last year, being in Florida. Like Kip said, 2-1 final game where Florida pulled away. I think a really good chance this gets to a Game 7, and Game 7 in that crazy Rogers Place in Edmonton, it would be really tough for me to pick against the Oilers there. So maybe it's wishful thinking because it's exactly what I need, but I would be on the Oilers in 7 if I had to pick, although it's a tough one. Quickly, I know I've rambled long enough, but there wasn't much interesting about taking SGA to win the MVP. I mean, I think that was just clear, but I think the Conn Smythe market is really fascinating. Going into the Stanley Cup final because I think there's two vulnerable favorites. I would not bet on either of these guys. It doesn't mean they can win, but the favorites right now are Connor McDavid at even money and Sergei Bobrovsky at 2-1. They both should be the favorites, but I don't think there should be this big of a gap. I mean, McDavid and Draisaitl. McDavid has one more point than Draisaitl this playoffs. Draisaitl's already going into the playoffs with goodwill. He's either going to win the Hart Trophy or be the second place runner-up to Connor Hellebuck. There is a real possibility that he just scores more points here, and if the Oilers win, he wins the Conn Smythe. He's as high as 11-1. I bet some of that 11-1. I'm really hoping he gets off to a hot start to the series. Then you can come back and build a portfolio and get Connor McDavid at a better price than even money. So I like Leon Draisaitl on 11-1. And Bobrovsky's been amazing. He should be the favorite right now for Florida. But has anyone watched Edmonton? I mean, they're gonna score on the guy. I just don't see it. I will be shocked if Bobrovsky's as good as he's been the rest of the playoffs against Florida. So you really have to look forward with these markets, not backwards. I just think 2-1 is an insane price with what he's up against. Sasha Barkov is their second favorite at 5-1, and he is just beloved by the media, the guys who vote on this. I think he is a really good bet at 5-1 if you like the Panthers. I bet both him and Draisaitl just because I think the series is kind of 50-50. We just had the Selke Trophy award come out yesterday, and Barkov won it, I think, for the third straight year, which he didn't deserve to at all. I think Sam Reinhart was way better two-way forward on his own team this year, but Reinhart ends up second place. Yes, I'm a little bitter. I bet Reinhart. All the numbers supported it, but that just goes to show you this voting base loves Barkov. He's the captain. He's the heart of the team. I think Bobrovsky's going to give up some goals here, and I think Barkov's the most likely Panthers winner. So if you don't have any Conn Smythe bets yet, bet Draisaitl. I got 11-1. Barkov, I got 5-1. Then hopefully Draisaitl gets off to a hot start, and maybe we can supplement it with some McDavid. I feel like it's going to be one of those three guys to win it.
I love hearing the keepers talk hockey, man. I love it. You don't even take a breath for like 5 or 6 minutes. I absolutely love it.
Well, I got to say one quick thing. I'm glad Case got the record straight here on Alexander SGA. Tony, you keep calling him SAG, and I'm sitting there thinking SAG. That's really unflattering nickname. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm getting my initials all messed up. Thank you for correcting.
Well, that's okay. SAG is not a real good.
I'm thinking actors.
I'm not betting SAG
for
the MVP. I'll just tell you that.
No wonder I can't find those numbers. K4Wins.com, K4Wins.com. Check out our website, and of course, also check out our YouTube channel, K4Wins, for our live show going on next week right here on Tony Kurre Radio. Of course, you can also download the TKR app and listen to the show wherever you get your favorite podcast. It's available on every major industry out there. You know, it's funny. We always hear, Kai, the saying, steal one at home or steal one on the road, depending on which team you are. And it's always important. The home field's always important, whether it's NHL, NBA, or anything else. But this year, certainly in the NBA, when you see like the Knicks, going 5-1 on the road, man, it's not always that way. But I guess you really have to look at each individual team and how well they particularly play at home in the NHL. How's that play out for you?
I'm not anywhere near as versed as those two guys in hockey, and I can't give you all the reasons. But I hope I'm wrong for Case's sake, because I hadn't played anything. But I like Florida in this series, although I think Edmonton is the tougher team. If Florida can steal game 1 or game 2, I like Florida in 6.
All right, there you have it. I love it. Lots to get into here. Lots of college basketball. Of course, it's going to be right around the corner, as well as college football. We're going to cover every major sport. We even do women's sports as well. College baseball is huge right now. We'll talk about that right now. The Yanks, the Tigers, the Mariners, the Mets, the Cubs, the Dodgers, and Major League Baseball right now have the divisions. The Jays have won 5 in a row. Mets 4 in a row. The Brew Crew, who takes on my Cincinnati Reds again later on this evening, have won 8 in a row. Kai, we'll start with you because you're our MLB expert. Anything interesting going on in the world of Major League Baseball that's kind of taken your ear?
I would love to tell you yes, but, in all reality, that's why it's a great thing for 4 of us, because when one of us is out of it, like I have been, we had baseball Saturday and Sunday, got done Sunday night at 9 o'clock, drove to the beach, got baseball again today. Been just
Can I place action on your son's team? Will you take action?
We blew a 4-run lead in the state finals and lost Sunday night. So now we're down here. So, we'll see how that goes. But, my bet of the weekend is Arkansas over Tennessee. I think looking at it, for some reason Arkansas is either a very small favorite or Tennessee's favorite. I don't like the way Tennessee's playing, but Arkansas and that super regional, I really like that. You got to give it to Case. Like he said, golly, the SEC looked bad in these first round. Vandy out, as the 1 seed, Texas the 2 seed out. The way Georgia played, the way Kentucky played, Ole Miss and Mississippi State. I wasn't impressed with any of the SEC teams outside of maybe one game for Auburn and then a couple of games for Arkansas.
Yeah, go ahead, Case.
I was just going to say Arkansas. Yeah, I saw the one sports book that's posted super regionals here. Arkansas is only a -120 favorite against Tennessee. I'm terrified of that regionals. As you know, I'm on Arkansas.
Yeah,
I think Tennessee's been hard to trust, but man, they have all the pieces. So I would not be surprised if either team wins here. I hope Kai is wrong about the hockey, but right about the baseball, and Arkansas gets it done. And yeah, I kind of I don't think I really voiced this, but yeah. I still think it's most likely an SEC team wins, but since I've done this seriously, betting futures wise, it's really kind of been just look at the best SEC teams, figure out who that is, and bet them. Because I really felt like there was a gap between the league and everyone else. I do think they've maybe kind of come back to the pack this year, just as the ACC was so good, and I think North Carolina looks awfully scary. They're in the other side of the bracket, so the Tar Heels are kind of the other team I'm really worried about. I would be worried about Florida State too, especially with Jamie Arnold, who's probably going to be the first or second player taken in the MLB draft, but they have to go all the way to Corvallis, and Oregon State looks really, really strong too. It's tough to judge them just because I mean, obviously they're not even in a major conference. They've had such a weak strength of schedule, but they came through and got it done in the regional. I think that's such a tough trip for Florida State. So at least I got two teams that I'm scared of. One of them has to go home. It's unfortunate that either Arkansas or Tennessee. And I just wanted to add real quick, Major League Baseball, if anything interesting is going on. This is a huge day in Major League Baseball, at least for me, and I'm sure other people that bet future markets and are tied in. Jack Coglione, former Florida star, almost brought Florida to the national championship, did get them to the national championship game, finally called up by the Royals. The Royals can't hit. The guy's hitting a home run or two every single night in the minor leagues, and because of service time manipulation, they never called him up. Going into the season, I bet some 50-1 on him to win Rookie of the Year. He's going to have to be really, really good. He's going to have to be as good as he is in the majors as he is in the minors to catch Jacob Wilson for the A's, who's just been amazing and off the charts right now. But I think this guy has all the makings to be just a huge star, and could be Caglione and Witt could be like one of the more impressive 1-2 punches to watch. So I'll be keeping an eye on the Royals tonight, going to the Cardinals. I bet the Royals too. I really believe in Caglione. I think that he lifts this team's ceiling. I think they've done some good things on the year, but I'll be rooting for him big time down the stretch. Hopefully I can cash a 50-1 Rookie of the Year on Jack Caglione.
Kip, your Bravos are 4 games under 500 right now. They're still right there, man. They're 10 games out, but it's early in the season.
They're so bad, Tony. We don't have to have windmill power all over the country. Just channel everything from Atlanta, from Truist Field. They swing and miss. They create more wind than any team. I know we tried to be optimistic last week and say they're getting ready to go on a roll, but they just don't hit with runners in scoring position. It's so frustrating to watch their games, and I try to take my fandom out of it, but it's kind of hard to abandon something that's been going on since the mid '60s when I was like a toddler. Just watching this team with all of the, the back of you always hear the phrase, the back of the guy's baseball card, they're going to hit. Well, I'm starting to wonder.
What is the issue? Is it? I mean, I know you said scoring position, but I mean, you're talking
and they
about
just strike out.
Yeah.
I mean, the Braves probably have set a record. I don't know if they trace this kind of stuff, but the Braves have had situations all year where they've got twice in the Boston series, they had runners on second and third with nobody out and didn't score. They came and put the ball in play. They strike out twice, and then somebody dribbles back to the mound. I mean, it just happens game after game after game. And, I thought Michael Harris was going to break out, the Rookie of the Year 2 years ago. I thought he was going to have a big year. He's laboring down around 230. Austin Riley gets hot and hits a couple home runs in a course space of a week, and then he strikes out like every time he comes up for the next 3 weeks. His average is back down in the 260s. Olson's been hot, but he's been hot enough to get up to 239. That's how bad he was struggling before. Ozuna, to me, looks like he might be starting to lose it a little. I'm just concerned. This team has really good starting pitching. I mean, really good. Spencer Schwellenbach is going to be a superstar. He's probably the best major league pitcher stuff-wise in the league that nobody's heard of. They lost another really good young guy, Smith Shawver, recently to another injury, which is bad. But Strider looked good in his second start back. He's back in the rotation. Chris Sale is pitching better than he's pitched in his prime. Mm-hmm. He's unhittable right now. So, and they even got this crazy guy, looks like one of the Oak Ridge boys, Grant Holmes, who's thrown 4 or 5 really gems in a row. So without pitching, with pitching, it's just kind of baffling. The team that set every record on earth in 2023, just 2 years ago, just can't hit with runners in scoring position. And it just drives me insane to try to watch them.
About 20 games short of the halfway point. Yeah, you mentioned Strider. He goes later on tonight. I think a lot of people are just kind of waiting for them to get that 8-9 game win series, and all of a sudden they'll start winning 2 out of every 3 and win the series, and that's what the Atlanta Braves do. The Cardinals are always one of those teams. They're sitting there 7 games that are 500. I hate the Cardinals because my wife is from the St. Louis area, or my ex-wife is from the St. Louis area. It doesn't matter who's on the Cardinals, man. Every time I turn around, they're winning baseball games. Like they just went on an 8-game winning series. And now, of course, the Milwaukee Brewers are doing the same thing. Kai, real quick, Major League Baseball, talk some college stuff as well. Anything else pique your interest here before we let everyone rip?
Unfortunately, I think that me and Case's preseason hype on Boston was very, very, very overrated by us. I think they're getting ready to fall off. I would look to be betting against them right now. I think I'd bet the over every single Yankees game. Also, when they're at home, anyway, because you get somebody like Judge that can just walk up and flip his wrist, and it's a home run there in that itty bitty cracker box that they play in. But you can go back into it and say same thing with my beloved Tennessee Vols. They play in one of the smallest parks in the country. When they go to Arkansas, I think it's going to be a little bit different. I can't wait for next week when we get into the College World Series. It's one of my favorite times of the year. Only been once in my life. I would recommend it for anybody if you get an opportunity to go out there, even if it's just for one game, and even if you don't have a team in it. It is an incredible experience, especially if you're a sports lover, whether you gamble or not. That's a great place to go.
There you go. K4Wins.com, K4Wins.com. Check out our website. It's free. And of course, you can also subscribe there. We're going to be on the Coastal Sports Network going all the way down to the great state of Florida and Fort Myers area on 102.9. The game down there will be all over YouTube channels. Of course, our K4Wins YouTube channel is up. It'll be live next week, so make sure you check it out. Of course, you can also check out Case as well as Kip and myself on ABC 3340's The Starting Lineup every Saturday morning from 10:30, 11 o'clock. I got one final Tony Kurre number. Are you ready, Kai? 14.86. 14.86. That's the average Indiana Pacers starter runs every game. 14.86 miles per basketball game. That's pretty amazing, isn't it?
Wow.
And having just seen him, Angus Young used to run about 9 or 10 miles a night when he was on stage. I don't know if he did that a couple of weeks ago when you saw him up north. But, to think that you're running 14.86 miles a night for an Indiana Pacer, that tell you why they're young and why they're so skinny. They'll get it done. Gentlemen, appreciate you. Thank you so much.
All right, guys.
This has been a special presentation of Tony Kurre Radio.